Sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah, you want to put that down? Yeah.
I wish I had one of those. That's a nice little tray.
So, tell me what happened yesterday.
Yeah, they came
The FBI came in.
for the first time. You know, the first time you guys came here, everybody said that it was bull crap.
Right. So just tell me what happened.
Nothing. They just came in. They ran straight up to the ring, and they put a blue tape on the ring so we couldn't see. But obviously, there's about 30 cameras around the whole premises. So they came back for the things that they alleged that I did, the copyright infringement, which, you know, I don't think I ever did anything wrong. Obviously, I was running businesses wide open in the public. So now we just got to see. We're going to have our day in court now. So finally, you know, I get to not be depressed, not be stressed out anymore. Now I get my day in court.
Was this arrest a relief for you?
It was 100% a relief because I didn't know what was going on for 2 years. No answers, no nothing. You know, depressed. You know, a lot of depression comes behind this. They don't know, man. When they do things like this, they take people's livelihoods. You know, so this is sort of a big relief for me. Obviously.
You look like you're doing pretty good.
Oh, and look, they said that everything that I've done was criminally. And back again, we're back to flourishing again with other business ventures, which means that, you know, I've always done something right, you know. I just feel like, you know, I found a loophole. I ran through it, and I did great. You know, there's other colleagues of mine that are in the same business that I was in. They never got in trouble with the FBI. They're right now, you know, they're getting sued by DirecTV, and the FBI never had any interest in them. And, you know, that's my question to them. Like, how come my colleagues get to run off of $200-300 million? And I was the only one targeted out of it. Maybe it's because, you know, we were probably driving down the 95 and they looked over, you know, they make 70 grand a year. Who the hell is this fat guy driving a Lambo?
You said two things in.
Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Rakakwadash, Shmamath. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Ahar One, Banyasha Allah, the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Awakim, the children that believe in truth and sincerity. And as you saw the video I played beforehand, so basically, just to, you know, a more quicker in-depth rundown, basically Jake, you know, played the middleman, you know, and just looking at it through spiritual lenses, Esau don't want to deal with you. You know, and he was at the end of the video, you can see, you know, he failed to just say that because he's a so-called black man, you know, because he's an Israelite. And I believe he's more than likely from the tribe of Reuben or Gad or Simeon, if he's like a so-called Dominican. But he's a YouTuber, known YouTuber as well, named Omni in the Hellcat. And he also kind of he's stiff-necked and hard-headed, just like Jake is, because he had a situation before which led him in a copyright situation to where he did some type of partnership with the China manufacturing company and made a copy, a mock of the Jordan 1 shoe, which brought him into the court for that as well. So again, he failed to just say that, hey, yeah, because Jake don't realize that they can't do what Esau can do, you know, and Esau get mad because Jake makes something out of nothing. You know, you heard in the beginning of the video, Esau says, hey, I wish I had that one of those. Nice little track hawk. You know, that's the games these devils play, you know. But all in all, I want to start off in the book of First Timothy. You know, so basically Jake, you know, played the middleman, you know, trying to be in partnership when he doesn't have no type of contract, because Esau deals with what? Paperwork. You know, you got to have a contract, and, you know, Esau got to have you tied to him, man. He wants you to write it in blood, you know. He wants you to sell your soul, so to speak. You know, and basically Esau don't want no partnership with you. But 2/3 of our people continue to cling on to what's not of them. According to Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. States, arise and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. And that's why we continue to pipe this word unto our people and teach of them of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, so they can know of their true Savior, all right? They can know of the Creator, all right, of heaven and earth, all right? They can know the Creator, ultimately, of the Heavenly Father, all right? Being of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, their big brother, all right? And of their culture, as they lost their remembrance, when it comes down to their inheritance, their culture. So this is what is going to destroy you with a sword. Is polluted, man. This place is already being destroyed, and our people are being destroyed right along with it, even more so to where they're being stripped away from their families, where they're going to be needed even more so now than ever in these times that we're going into, all right? In these times that we're in. That's why the Lord says that we to be wise as serpent and harmless as doves and sober-minded. We got to ultimately meet him halfway, man, as he has his angels covering us as well, as we being of the hopeful number. But again, Micah 2 and 10. But I want to start off ultimately being in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. And again, my screen is partially cracked. So if I got to kind of go into the etymology to look at it a different way to see the actual word. But this is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, man. Just like this individual, Omni and the Hellcat, man. I'm sure he has heard that of the Israelites, of Hebrew Israelites, of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans being of the Lord's chosen people, man. The Lord's peculiar people, and how they were supposed to be set apart from all these other nations, all these other heathen nations. But instead, 2/3 of our people, they love to join and aid and abet Esau and Moab and all these other heathen nations when it comes to the world, all right, and different philosophies and endeavors they can indulge in when it comes to the world. But Esau don't want no partnership with you. The heathen don't really want no partnership with you. They despise you. Why? Because you're of the Lord. All right. But then they mock on the inside, spiritually, subconsciously, they're mocked because you don't know who you are. So ultimately the money is not evil, but the root of it. All right. Not the money being evil, but the desire for it will get you in trouble with the Lord, being the point. And that's what trouble with the Lord and Esau. Esau will send his sword, man, his whipping stick being Esau upon you in his teeth, So Esau ultimately he's the true pirate, him and Moab, they steal everything. Moab even steal Jake's style, the Jordans, again, the European clothing, even to wanting to be a hip hopper, This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 9. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. They'll take all the grapes, man. They won't leave not one grape. They'll take the whole vine. You know, and split it with the rest of the heathen nations. And 2/3 of our people will get the crumbs. But when you collect those crumbs and try to make a loaf, all right, a bread, a loaf, hey, that's when you get in trouble dealing with Esau, because you begin to step on his toes. You can do something now. You can look him in the eye. When you're supposed to be the servant here, no man shall buy thee. You're up under the curses, according to the book of Deuteronomy, man. So again, you get in trouble with the Lord when it goes to desiring his dainties, his meats, sitting out at the king's table and eat none of his dainties, man. Roughly paraphrasing. Esau in the beginning, he say, I wish I had one of those. It's a nice little track hawk, really just mocking him too at the same time, because Esau really like if he can probably afford it, this is his kingdom, what I'm saying? And if not, he's mad that he got it without working hard for it or working 10 times harder than he has to work to get one. So we brought out Jeremiah 49 and what I wanted 9. Yeah, they won't leave not one gleaning grape. But this is verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not right. And he is not. He still want to rape, rob, and murder, even so that where he's trying to go into a fourth industrial revolution, to where he's trying to turn over to collapse his own dollar. All right, be done away with America because that was ultimately what it was set up for, to rape, rob, and throughout the four corners of the earth and to extort the other nations. All right, so he's spoiled. The scriptures say, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. You know, you see the spoiled, Salakia. And his brethren and his neighbors, but he is not. They got enough. They got the dainties. They got the system profits them. The system that's set up, called racism. That web of a system that oppresses the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those of the speckled bird who may look like the other nations but bear that same spirit, because their spirit knows, all right, that you're not of them. You're an Israelite. That's why you get treated different. In these, our people are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. You have, you go to Google and you can type in dark skinned Chinese or black Chinese or black Japanese, and throughout the country, and they live in certain regions. They live in the ghettos and certain poor areas in those particular nation amongst those particular nations and societies. But just going back to the point of how what his seed is spoiled, his brethren and his neighbors, but he is not, man. He's gonna keep on rape, robbery, and murder through the four corners of the earth. And our people, sadly, don't see that he's being made bare. He's being uncovered. As far as his wickedness, his evil deeds, his deceitfulness that he's been put forth through the four corners of the earth. That even the heathen nations have waken up to it, and they're mad according to the scriptures. All right, but 2/3 of our people, they still want to make deals and make pacts and be in partnerships with this devil. So hey, they getting the shit in of the stick. From there, I want to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? Right, they frameth mischief by a law. They set up policies and laws and, really laws and policies, for their teeth, right, their military to uphold, to enforce upon the people, man. And if you don't abide by it, or if they see something that they can take and make profit of, being the government, that is, or the FBI or the CIA, you know, um, they'll come and take it, man. That's why ultimately we hold up that wicked poster, man, at camp. It's a representation of Job chapter 9, uh, chapter 9 and verse 24. All right. They frame it mischief by laws, man. Again, they laws in their new speech, their paperwork, ultimately stemming from the Roman Empire, man. You know, even going back to what the treaty they had with the Native Americans and Seminole Indians, man. And how they broke every treaty except for the taking of their land, man. And again, This is a possible Reubenite or a Gadite, but hey, a troop shall overcome them at the end. Just speaking on to that wicked poster, okay? As you can see under the intelligence is where you can see the FBI, the NSA, all right, under the CIA, KJB over there in Russia has all of the same pack, whether you Russian Caucasian, British Caucasian, or you consider yourself to be an American Caucasian. All right, you're biblically known as the Edomites. You're descendants of Esau. All right, along with their subsets, the IRS, because they work hand in hand with the FBI, as you see. They come down on you as far as the revenue, the commerce, and we're going to get into that more in depth into that. All right. So again, it's just one of their that branch of their spider webs, man. Their complex web of a system, man. Being the FBI, it's on the poster, as you see under the intelligence. All right, along with the CIA. All right, and you could put the IRS up in there too. All right, along with your what our 2/3 of our people partake in, the Masons and Eastern Stars, the fraternities and sororities who aid and abet this place, who believe in the philosophies of this place, who who really lead our people astray into falling into these traps of Esau, Edom, and this devil. Because that's all it is, a trap, all right, going after the money, going after the lucre, instead of being content, all right? But all in all, they uphold and enforce the policies of America and Babylon. Um, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 35 and verse 16. With hypocritical mockers and feasts, they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Lord, how long wilt thou look on? Rescue my soul from their destructions, my daring from the lions. You know, with hypocritical mockers and feasts, they gnashed upon me with their teeth. I believe that was the point I wanted to get in verse 16. And this is David, all right, I believe a psalm of David. And you go into that term teeth in the Hebrew. Um,
Strong's H 8127. Shane. Shane.
shame, shame. Now the definition point that I wanted to go into, as it goes into many, but the one I want to highlight is under as material, um, under the two eyes, the two dotted eyes of commerce. And right, we understand commerce going into buying and selling. All right, their business. Right, the merchant man and things. All right, but commerce, business, buying and selling. And I'll start at verse 1 and I'll read down to 16 real quick. Prayer for rescue from enemies, man. And that's why it's imperative for you to know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for you to have the understanding of this truth, because it's a protection, it's a hedge, it's a guidance. All right. It's guidance, man. It's instruction, man. Right? Basic instructions before leaving the earth is supposed to be. All right. It's guidance and instructions for you to know who your enemy is, how to maneuver, what to partake in this society. All right, while being in this flesh, you need instructions. You know, you buy things out of the store. Pretty much everything comes with a manual. But prayer for rescue for enemies, a psalm of David. Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for mine help. Draw out also the spear and stop the way against them that persecute me. Con. Say unto my soul, I am thy salvation. Let them be confounded and put to shame that seek after my soul. Right. He want to be kept. He want to be of the Lord's elect. He want to be of the Lord's number. So he's asking of the Lord to say to himself that he's of thy salvation, and he want to be partaking in it. Let them be turned back and brought to confusion. Devise my hurt. Let them be as chaff before the wind, and let the angel of the Lord chase them. Lucifer, son of a morning, I'm going to chase you all over. That's what I thought about when I just had that slight delay. Salakia. Let their way be dark and slippery. The angel of the Lord persecute them. Without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Right? That's why you have to know what to partake in and what not to. All right. I don't like the term deal. Definitely dealing with Esau. He's not a good businessman. He don't deal well, and ultimately he doesn't deal righteously. You know, Psalms 50 and 16. What is thou to do to declare my statutes? Man, he's wicked. All right, he cast it behind him, just like he did the birthright. He's not upright. The spirit is not upright in him to even be doing business with. All right, that's why ultimately they got to be put back into that brute beast like living, man, up in that cave like mentality, man, of slavery. They need slavery. Thus saith the Lord. All right, according to Revelations 13. All right, 11. All right, Revelations Salakia 13 and 9. All right, Salakia. We're going back to Psalms 35 and 6 and 35. We're in Psalms 35 and verse 8. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he have hid catch himself. Into that very destruction let him fall. And my soul shall be joyful in the Lord. I shall rejoice in his salvation. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like unto thee, which deliverest the poor from him that is too strong for him? Yeah, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. Right? Because we can't win this fight against Esau carnally. Esau's blessing was carnal. All right, his blessing was carnal. All right, to rule the four corners of the earth through the sword and through deception, through the art of war. Deceitfulness. We can't compete with that. If we aspiring to make it, we have to cast all those type of works in and books like 48 Laws of Power and the ways of the world and those type of philosophies away and cling on to the philosophy of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man, the Lord. Yeah, the poor and the needy from him that spoileth him. Falsely witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. Like the heathen do. What is that? Psalms 10. We'll get that right quick. I believe it's Psalms 10. Right. How Let's get it. Psalms 10 and 1. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hiddest thou self in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken into the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire and blesses the covenants who the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As far as his enemies, he puffeth at him. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places does he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. Right. That's why he has a form of oppression. All right. And it's like an order out of chaos. The Gleaning dialect. You have oppression, and then you have the enticement of the deception of the deceptive being the dollar. All right, because the dollar is deceptive, man. The promissory note, hanging over the people heads, like, hey, you make enough of this, you can do something. All right, but you'll never have enough dealing with Esau if you are the so-called so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Not the Israelites, like, you know. But the point is in 11. He hath said in his heart, Yahweh have forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. And that's what they do. They mock and laugh and try to, like, those the people of the Lord. There's no way, and when they the real cause of the problem, the Lord set them up to be the cause, one of the cause of the problem outside of us falling and transgressing the Lord. So going back to Psalms 35, and just how it's important to know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to avoid these traps and the fiery darts of the wicked. False, and this is verse 11, Psalms 35 and 11. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. They rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling of my soul. Right. They want to reward wickedness. All right. But they abhor righteousness. So the more righteous you be here, the more vex and the more, vexation you get here. You typically go through the streets. That's how the Lord's quote unquote science is set up. To where you're gonna be afflicted here. It's not gonna make sense to you. Your desire to for the money is not as the 2/3. This is Psalms 35 and 12. They rewarded me evil for good to the spoiling of my soul. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into my own bosom. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother, right? And that's why you have to know who your enemy is, man. You without the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man, you're a wrecking ball. You're a deer in headlights. That goes into the book of Sirach 12, man, of how you should never trust your enemy. It's like iron rusteth. The element sure as hell go rusted. Seasons. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily as one that mourneth for his mother. But in my adversity they rejoiced and gathered themselves together. Yeah, the abjects gathered themselves together against me, and I knew it not. They did tear me and ceased not. With hypocritical markers and feasts, they gnashed upon me with their teeth. Again, going to that term teeth here in Psalms 35 and 16, when in 81:27.
Strong's H 8127. Shane. Shane.
Again, going into like that commerce, you know, that buying and selling, and how you got to know not to lay down and play with this devil, on that major level of that level financially, as far as, that tax bracket of millions and dealing with a millionaire, or even getting a 501c3. All you got to do with that 501c3, for example, is probably go against the grain or whatever meeting they have for those 501c3 holders, as far as them pastors and stuff, and teach something that you're not supposed to teach, like the Lord's true name. Like a lot of them stem away from who once was teaching the name, like the IUIC leader. But now they're under a 501c3 charter, man, and it's big business. And it's about lucre, that filthy lucre, you know, dealing with Esau money and laying down with him and being in that tax bracket or having that 501c3 charter. All you got to do is probably go against the grain and go against the guidelines and the laws and the policy of Esau. And Esau come down on you, man, with his teeth. All right, because you went against the laws of his commerce laws. All right, they take that 501c3 charter away. Uncle Sam being Esau and the IRS, along with the FBI, his teeth, come and get you and close you down. As a church, like like they did that. Like that comfy dude, man. I see GJC church probably. You teach the MOTV is the chip, or if you say Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai is the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, you know they'll probably come down on you. You probably reneged on the deal. That's how Esau plays, ultimately being the example and the point. All right, but from there I want to go to the book of Revelations, chapter 16 and verse 13. Because again, going back to speaking on the web of Esau, how it's like a drawn out web, and we showed you the sign of Job 9 and 24. All right, the wicked poster, and you can see how it's systematically designed politically. All right, so-called secret societies, the financial institutions, the central banks, right, the research institutions, the education institutions, right, how it equates to Job 9 and 24. I want to go to Revelation chapter 16 and verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, right? And the dragon ultimately represents Esau, Edom, and his system, right? And the beast, right? His system. The beast representing his system, all right? The dragon representing Esau, in the mouth of the false prophet, all right? The Roman Catholic Church, which was set up as the Catholicism was set up as the world religion, allegedly, all right? But it was a falsified religion, giving you a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Cesare Borgia, all right, the son of the fourth pope of Rome. But the three unclean spirits going into the military system, all right, the banking system, which is dealing with the financial, and the religion. All right. So you have the military, the banking, and the religion system, which education falls and the philosophies fall up under that. All right, which is many of philosophies here. It's a melting pot of philosophies when it comes to the religion part of the unclean spirits, like the mouth like frogs. And again, that's why it's mentioning the mouth of the false prophet being the Roman Catholic Church. So again, this is that web that is speaking of this right here, particularly going into the military. All right, and as well as the deception, man, the religion and the deception as well, because hey, this is the only thing to be restrained with, because religion ultimately means to be restrained. All right, religio, going to the term religio, meaning to restrain or hold back. All right, and this is the only thing that you should be restrained with the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, to restrain you from dashing your foot against the stone, all right, or dealing with the devil, Esau. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 2 and verse 16. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their feet. Salaki. Again, my screen is cracked. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it, right? Going into, ultimately how what the heathen rage, and they imagine a vain thing, and ultimately how what the Lord set them over us, all right? And they have surely taken a toll on our people. This is the book of Psalms 124 and verse 6. Blessed be the Lord who have not given us as a prey to their teeth. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth, man. Again, the teeth representing what? Their military, all right? Because what? They'll come down on you with their military, hey, from doing bad commerce, man. Because Esau go do bad commerce regardless, man. So he got his military to sick on you anyway. It's a lose-lose dealing with this devil, just being a point, man. Since we're at a lose-lose, the only way out and the only win, the Da Vinci Code, the unlock code to get up out of this thing is to cling on to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. And to be blessed with the spirit of truth. So I'll end off with the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12. And I start at verse 8. And Yahweh's lesson was edifying. It's Sirach chapter 12 and verse 8. A friend cannot be known in prosperity. Right, and that's all they teach here in America in these false religions and these philosophies. They teach a prosperity doctrine, how gain is godliness, and that's not so. A friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart, right? Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness, right? Esau damn sure go rust. He that aged iron. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away, right? You'll be able to see through him, so to speak, before you even stumble and have bad dealings with him. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember thy words and be pricked therewith, right? Because Esau he showed go by that, because he a devil. He don't want to see you get nowhere close to him financially. So he see what you do with crumbs, so he has to cut you off quickly. That's why he has these things set in place like the IRS and the FBI, the CIA, to knock you off twofold. all right? Whether throwing you in jail or literally knocking you off. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, right? Who would pity? Or any such as come nigh wild beasts. And Esau is a brute beast. And he showed you that, dealing from times of old all the way to now, man. There's nothing new under the sun. Again, we spoke of the Native Americans and Seminole Indians, the so-called Native Americans and Seminole Indians, which the Lord refers to them as the tribe of Gad and Reuben, which the dude Omni and the Hellcat, which more than likely possibly is from. All right. But again, the troop shall overcome them at the end, you know. But who would pity a charmer? His works were shown even through them, and how he transgressed and pillaged and took the land from them. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him, this verse 14, in his sins, who will pity, right? So who will pity? All right, this devil's proven. For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to overthrow thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And adversity come upon if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Right? He's sitting there to undermine thee. He spoke about how he had colleagues that was even getting sued by DirecTV, but the FBI don't want to throw them in jail. Why? Because they're probably Esau, Edom, or another heathen nation. All right, but when it comes to Jake, you got to go to jail, man. This is not your rest. As we start off in Micah 2:10, you know. And you should know that this is your enemy by now. He doesn't have your best interests at hand. And he's going down right now. Whoever continues to hold his hand now along with him is going to go down with him. And according to Proverbs, man, thou join hand in hand and wicked is not going unpunished. But this is the last verse 18 in Sirach chapter 12, verse 18. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance, man. Right? He go switch up on you. He's a devil, man. He's a deceiver. He's deceptive. All right. He's here to lead you astray and to strip you from your main focus, which should be how we're gonna get up out of here, pertaining to this oncoming destruction. All right. The wrath of Esau, Edom, according to Revelations 12:12. He's coming down with great wrath because he knows he has a short time. Right. He's trying to establish a fourth industrial revolution in a new world order that the righteous and the hopeful elect who's seeking a new heaven and new earth want no partakings in, So the time is running out and the time is running short, but Yahweh Ratazah, this lesson was edifying, and Shalom, Mahabatah, and DTA. Until the next one.